Now, from WYDC TV, this is Big Fox News at 10.
Good evening, I'm Anna Manuel. Nursing homes across New York State will have to adjust to new staffing requirements in a matter of days. Big Fox's Josh Feldberg spoke to the Steuben County Department of Aging about how this will affect our aging population.
A new law pertaining to the staffing of nursing homes will be going into effect at the start of the new year. Patty Barodi, the director of Steuben County Office for the Aging, told Big Fox about the reasoning behind the law.
Well, I know that it's been a discussion for decades about what the proper level of staffing should be for nursing homes, and I like to look at it from the perspective of quality care, like how much manpower does it take to give quality care in a facility. And many facilities do a beautiful job, but they're all struggling mainly because of workforce issues.
Roughly 75% of New York nursing homes will be forced to hire more workers. If nursing homes fail to meet the required staffing minimums, the facilities will be forced to downsize or pay a $2,000 a day fine.
Well, you know, nursing homes do not like fines because it's hard enough to make ends meet. Everything costs more, particularly the manpower to do the job. So those penalties, they certainly want to avoid them, but they are really in a difficult situation because they can't fill positions, so the only other option is to reduce their census.
Nursing home staffing challenges stem from problems with pay quality and other pandemic-related issues. This has led to high employee turnover rates, preventing facilities from building large enough staffs. Elder persons advocates are warning that although the law was created with the intent to help improve care, it may have an opposite effect. Many facilities will be forced to downsize and wind up putting more stress on hospitals. Josh Feldberg, Big Fox News, Steuben County.
Two major healthcare providers in Tompkins County will be joining forces following a merger. The Cayuga Health System will be merging with Family Medicine Associates of Ithaca on February 1st. As part of the deal, the physical locations of Family Medicine Associates will remain the same. Both sides have expressed excitement about the merger. Target is restricting the purchase of some kids' fever and pain relief medicine as the nation continues to grapple with a sharp rise in cases of the flu, COVID-19, and RSV. Target shoppers looking to purchase Tylenol, Advil, and Motrin are only allowed to buy 2 boxes online and at physical locations. Other pharmacy chains are also following suit. CVS is limiting the medication to 2 transactions as well, and Walgreens is limiting online purchases to 6 at a time. It's been a tough week for air travel, but while most major airlines are rebounding, Southwest remains in crisis mode. Mike Tobin has more from Midway Airport in Chicago.
Christmas was just ruined. This was the worst Christmas ever.
Plenty of anger and frustration at airports across the country, and it's mostly centering on one airline, Southwest, the nation's largest domestic carrier, accounting for 85% of the more than 3,000 flights canceled in the U.S. on Tuesday. And the situation isn't going to improve until later this week, with Southwest now saying it will operate only about a third of its routes through Friday.
With our large fleet of airplanes and flight crews out of position in dozens of locations, and after days of trying to operate as much of our full schedule across the busy holiday weekend, we reached a decision point to significantly reduce our flying to catch up.
This was partly due to the big winter storm that hit right before Christmas, but some say the airline is also using outdated logistical software, creating big issues with staffing, stranded passengers, and missing luggage.
Everyone got their flights canceled, they lost their bags, luggage. Everyone's trying to find a way home, and that's all I'm trying to do right now.
Now the feds are looking into the travel troubles. President Biden tweeting in part, quote, "Our administration is working to ensure airlines are held accountable." And a growing number of lawmakers on Capitol Hill say investigations will be coming in the new year.
It was a disaster from day one, complete lack of concern for the American public. We're going to investigate this.
In a statement, Southwest said they're planning to double down on upgrades to their system so this doesn't happen again. At Chicago's Midway Airport, Mike Tobin, Fox News.
New York State's Excelsior Scholarship Portal is now open for applications. The Excelsior Scholarship Program allows eligible full-time students to attend SUNY or CUNY schools tuition-free. Students from households with an income of less than $125,000 are eligible to apply. Students who are interested in applying can visit ny.gov for more information. The IRS is warning about a phishing email scam targeting taxpayers around tax return season. The agency says if you receive an email claiming to be from the IRS requesting personal or tax information, it's important to follow these steps. Don't reply to the email, don't open any attachments in the email, or click any links. You need to forward the email as is to phishing@irs.gov, and then you can delete the original. The Supreme Court put a temporary hold on the termination of the Trump-era policy, Title 42, on Tuesday. The policy will remain in place until February, when the justices hear a challenge from Republican-led states. The policy, originally put into place at the beginning of the coronavirus pandemic in March 2020, lets immigration officials quickly expel migrants on the grounds of public health. Title 42 has been used to turn away migrants more than 2.5 million times. The House moves to remove TikTok from its devices. It's the latest action by the federal government to prohibit use of the app, which has faced growing concern over national security. Madeline Rivera reports from Washington.
Congress is cracking down on TikTok. Lawmakers are no longer allowed to download the app and must delete it from all House-issued mobile phones. The directive comes from the House's chief administrative officer, who cited a number of security risks with the app.
I think any business that's, in bed with the Chinese Communist Party, we need to take a real long, hard look at what they are trying to do.
TikTok is fueling bipartisan national security concerns because of its Beijing-based parent company, ByteDance. U.S. officials warn the app could inappropriately gain data from its users and share the sensitive information with the Chinese government.
What they're doing to our culture and society and spying on our data is wrong, and we need to get to the bottom of it. We should ban it from all government devices. That should be step one.
Congress has already approved a measure banning TikTok on executive government devices as part of the $1.7 trillion spending package that was passed last week. The House's action Tuesday aligns with that policy. TikTok slammed the move as a political gesture, but many are calling for more action.
I think we need to have a serious conversation about a national ban on TikTok, at minimum, in children or in children under the age of 16 for multiple reasons, including the fact that it's a data collection Trojan horse.
A spokesperson for TikTok says it's continuing to secure its platform and developing security and data privacy plans as part of an ongoing national security review by the Biden administration. In Washington, Madeline Rivera, Fox News.
More than 2,000 Waterford Crystal Triangles are put into their places as New York City gears up for its legendary New Year's Eve ball drop in Times Square. The iconic crystal ball is made up entirely of Waterford crystals, a feat the company is very proud of exhibiting.
And it is a feat of engineering to bring this together. And then you think we're on a reinforced floor, we're in the middle of Times Square, about 12,000 pounds in weight, which is incredible when you look at what this is. And then in a few days from now, New Year's Eve, 1.2 billion people approximately around the world watching the ball drop.
The crystals on the New Year's Eve ball are said to represent love, wisdom, happiness, goodwill, and more. And with just days until 2023, people are preparing to make their New Year's resolutions. Ways you can help follow through on yours coming up. Plus, we have your complete forecast.
Here's your local stock market update from Big Fox. Now, your Twin Tiers forecast from Big Fox.
A beautiful end to a beautiful day of the warmth and the sunshine moving its way in. Now, with these clear skies through the overnight, note that there will be some cooling in place. We were able to climb into the 40s, though. We made some big improvements after staying below average the last really few days with that rapid cool down we were dealing with over the holiday weekend. But we'll note that with the clear and calm skies through the overnight, temperatures do fall back below freezing. So any melting that did occur today, note that there might be some slick surfaces heading out early tomorrow morning with those temperatures just below freezing. But we will head into a fairly warm weather pattern as we start off the day into the 20s. This is still well above average for this time of the year. We should be falling into the teens, and the warmer than average weather pattern is really going to be the story for the end of this year and into the new year. Now, we're going to stay pretty quiet with this weather pattern at least through Friday, with high temperatures into the 50s. We checked off the 30s and the 40s today, and 50s are up next. Now 60s might not be able to be ruled out, and that could be record-breaking for the area if that could occur into that Friday forecast. But turning to that Saturday forecast, we will be keeping an eye on some rainy weather that will be around for the New Year's Eve forecast. So if you do have some late evening plans, note that there could be some rainy weather around. However, temperature trends do stay mild. Might pull our temperatures out of the 50s, but that's still keeping us above average into the 40s. Then as we head into the new year, there could be more 50-degree high temperatures, but still some rainy weather to factor in, which is going to continue to allow for any snowfall that is lingering across much of the state of New York to continue to melt off, even those areas like Buffalo and Watertown that have several feet of snowfall. Now, trending into that Thursday forecast, even with the start into the 20s, we climb significantly. We hit 50 degrees just before that sunset, bringing us those temperatures well above average. Now, average for this time of year, 35, so we're 15 degrees above average, hitting those lower 50s with that abundant sunshine. So any snowfall that was lingering from that over weekend snow, which we didn't see too much here, is definitely going to be diminishing. We'll head into that Friday forecast with more warmth in place. We'll even see the mid 50s. So we're talking 20 degrees above average. Now we will start to increase some cloud cover on Friday, because heading into that Saturday forecast, we are going to turn to some of that wet weather in place. We will then see that Saturday is going to be a little bit of a rainy and a gloomy one. But temperature wise, even New Year's Eve evening, you see 44 degrees. Not too bad for temperatures. That's well above average. So the temperature trend in our favor. The rain is what we are going to have to keep an eye on, as we'll keep those showers scattered both Saturday and Sunday. Temperatures into those mid 40s. So it's still really warm for this time of the year. We'll head into Monday being really our coolest day. Not too cold overall, with a high of 44 degrees and some areas of sunshine to return. But then we will see that as more of that warming moves its way in with 50s back on the board, we will be ushered back into a chance for some of that rainy weather.
Well, the countdown to 2023 is on, and like many Americans, you may be thinking about resolutions you'd like to make throughout the new year. Matt Napolitano takes a look at the psychology behind following through on your goals and how you can help keep yourself on track for success.
With 2023 right around the corner, people are preparing to make their list of resolutions for the new year. From exercising more to cutting back on social media, advancing your career, and beyond, whatever your goals are, behavioral experts say they should be SMART, an acronym standing for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely.
For example, I might want to move my body more, and so I might start by going to the gym or going to yoga once a week. And then after 3 weeks, maybe I build on that. If you make your goals more specific like that, you have an ability to track them and then maybe change it up if it feels like it's not working for you.
You could also have more success following through on your resolutions in the long run by asking yourself this question.
Why is it that you want to make a change? These are questions of purpose and values and meaning. So maybe you do want to go to the gym and lose a couple pounds, but why? And if you can get to that core reason for why, research finds that you are much more likely to actually follow through on your goals and make it happen.
But no matter how well mapped out your resolutions are, psychologists say it's perfectly normal to hit a slump, as new habits are hard to immediately apply to your life.
Habits can take really anywhere. Research suggests from 22 days to 290 days. And so giving yourself maybe 30 to 90 days to really work on one specific goal and build on that goal throughout that time.
Matt Napolitano, Fox News.
A new study claims that learning loss could shave $70,000 of lifetime earnings from children who were in school during the pandemic. The study is from a Stanford economist and is based on an analysis of the sharp declines in the national math test scores of 8th graders between 2019 and 2022. The study says that if those learning losses aren't recovered, K through 12th grade students could earn 5.6% less over their lives compared to those educated just before the pandemic. A UNICEF report published in December 2021 says that of around 2 billion school-aged children worldwide, 1.6 billion missed a substantial amount of classroom time during the pandemic. If you're planning to return some unwanted items, you might have to pay up. Some retailers such as H&M and J.Crew are adding fees to send items back online. The fees could be as much as $7. Now, this is one way for retailers to cover shipping costs and to prevent clothes from stacking up in their warehouses. U.S. minimum wage workers in 23 states are getting raises come New Year's Day. Pay hikes in states such as Arizona, Colorado, and Ohio range from 23 cents to $1.50. Washington will have the highest state minimum wage when it goes up to $15.74 an hour. 41 cities across the U.S., 28 of them in California, will also increase their minimum wage. The pay bump benefiting an estimated 8.4 million workers. Later in 2023, 5 more states and 22 more cities and counties will increase their minimum wage as well. Still ahead, could masking make a comeback in schools? One large district is talking about it. We'll have that story after the break. Schools in Boston are considering having their kids put on their mask again after the holiday break. Here's more after speaking with parents and children to see how they feel about the possible mandate.
I don't want masks.
The thought of having to put a mask back on for the entire school day after holiday break is bringing mixed reaction from students and parents in Massachusetts' largest school district.
When she has the mask for too long, it's harder for her to breathe.
Boston mother Johanny Del Jesus says aside from her daughter being uncomfortable wearing a face covering in her kindergarten classroom, she's not convinced that a temporary 2-week mask mandate at schools will have much of an impact.
So what's the point of getting masks for 2 weeks and you're still going to get sick through the years?
In a letter to families, Boston Public School Superintendent Mary Skipper writes, quote, based on last year's experience with a significant surge in COVID and its impact on staffing shortages and student absences, we know this temporary policy change may help mitigate any concerns.
We think it's, a really basic and really important measure that will actually make a big difference.
Krista Manginson is with BPS Families for COVID Safety, an advocacy group that's been lobbying city leaders to bring back masks at schools temporarily after the holiday gatherings and travel happening this week.
It is unrealistic to think that that won't lead to a rise in the overall number of respiratory illnesses, and we just like to see us curb that as much as we possibly can.
The weekly number of reported COVID cases in Boston public schools nearly tripled after Thanksgiving break, on top of a high rate of the flu and RSV, leading some to believe that action should be taken before it gets any worse.
Kids don't want, but it would be a good sign to at least have it for a week, if not 2 weeks.
Well, after the holidays, COVID infections are expected to surge, but health officials are offering tips on how you can best avoid infection. Joni Lewis reports.
During the holidays, there's a lot to prepare for.
You think about holiday travel, you think about family gatherings, you think about the cold weather we just encountered, and that in most places, those gatherings are occurring indoors. We are likely to see a surge of some sort in a post-holiday time.
Doctors anticipate those numbers to be larger among the elderly, which is why they're concerned about the low vaccination rates of the updated booster.
I'd really like to encourage people to get out there and get vaccinated, and let's see if we can keep these numbers down. Again, in the holiday season, if you're vaccinated, you're going to be less likely to infect grandma.
I would say stay up to date with your vaccinations. They certainly do help, and while they might not prevent infection, they do prevent some infection, and they decrease the severity of disease and bad outcomes.
Apparently, regular exercise can help too. A study recently published from the American Journal of Preventive Medicine looked at patients who had a positive COVID diagnosis. It found those who worked out had significantly lower risk of hospitalization or death from COVID than those who are inactive.
The better cardiopulmonary, the better heart-lung condition that we're in, it makes sense that we would have better outcomes after exposed to a respiratory disease.
So the healthier you are, if you get COVID, the more likely it is that you're going to be able to handle the different kind of complications that can go along with it.
The researchers recommended public health officials include exercise with other mitigation measures like social distancing, hand washing, and masking.
All of the basics still work. So adding exercise to those regimens can help you even more.
Important because this virus is not done with us.
We'll be back with more right after this. And here's a smile we want to leave you with. A puppy abandoned at San Francisco International Airport has found a new home just in time for the holidays. Polaris, a 6-month-old German Shepherd mix, was left behind in late August by an international traveler who did not have proper documentation for importing an animal. The traveler chose to continue traveling on without his animal. United Airlines made sure the puppy completed necessary requirements to enter the country, and after completing a quarantine, Polaris found a new home with a United pilot named William Dale. I'm Harriet Wallace. Thanks for watching.